Hello and welcome back to the Atomic Cast. I know it's been a short while. I entirely blame the GBHL committee and how useless they are because the website where the winning lists were posted wasn't updated, so we couldn't get them. So, also, yes, I am on the GBHL committee. So it's entirely my fault, but it's not. It's Dewey's fault. Um, Bert's back. Hi, Bert.
Hello. It's been many months, but I want to do one last hurrah before work gets silly.
It's been chuffing delightful. Um, And then we've got our September winning lists. Yes, I'm aware it's November. We're just gonna have to grin and bear it. It's all good. So we'll crack straight in. Lords of the West Midlands, GBHL 90, 675 points. Christian Lewis, Dragon Emperor. Basically, Dragon Emperor rune, 5 black dragons with shields, 10 black dragons with pike shield, 2 cataphracts with axes. I believe they were swapped to, and 1 cataphract with drum. Brogier, 2 cataphracts with axes, 5 acolytes with axes, an Eastling captain with shield, 6 Eastlings with pike shields, 2 warriors with bows, and a black dragon cataphract with axes. So yeah, gone the Dragon Emperor Brogier captain route rather than Rutabi.
I prefer it.
Yeah,
I've never played Dragon Emperor, but in my mind, this is the normal infantry with the drum. They can move 9. Chucking the marches there, you have this entire quite chubby phalanx moving 12.
the thing that's good about the Dragon Emperor is the lads, and how just super efficient your lads are. Why waste points on fancy heroes?
It's a really good. It's a really good. It's a really good number of lads. If things like if Retirement had access to a horse, then yeah, she could fulfill a slightly different role. But the lads can do, especially when you have this much strength 4 in there as well. And I really like that he's leading to the strength 4. But yeah, it's a scenarios like Seize the Prize. Suddenly, yeah, you can contest things really hard. I mean, you got the cat. How far are the cataphracts moving? Are they moving with drum and march? How far are the cataphracts moving?
In theory, 20, but they can't because the captain wouldn't
They
be
need
able to.
they need to stay. Okay,
Yeah, they'll end up
but yeah,
outpacing the captain, I think. But
yeah, you have this infantry phalanx that is contesting things like Seize the Prize. Recon, recon. This list. Well, once you get it all on, then they are literally moving half the board in 2 turns. That is terrifying. That is so fast. And if you just have this in your face, it's and that much cav, it's so hard to beat. And leading into the strength 4 with lots of acolytes. In full phalanx, the acolytes are rolling what? Well, 2 for them, 2 pikes, and a banner. They're rolling 5 fights at fight 5 to win, and then they're winning on 5s. This is gonna, well, it clearly did walk through a lot of fight 4 or D6 lists. I think it's really cool.
yeah, it's also the things you've said about the Assault and Helm's Deep captain before a few times. That Eastling captain is D7.
87.
He's D7. He's a pain in the ass to kill. He can just go into things and shield at them. You go into a strength 4 hero, you shield at it, and you go, cool, I've got 4 dice, we're in the same fight, and you're wounding me on 6s still. You're not doing anything. And you just bog them down, slow everything down, have a lovely time.
Potentially a little lower on might than some other lists are, but do you really care? I feel when you're placing your spear and your pike supports, and when you got cav as well, losing priority and just going, sure, go for it. I'll react, put all my pikes in the right places. I'll put Brogier where I need him to. So it can be very, very, very efficient might wise, and it's so forgiving. Again, fight 5, big banner, lots of D6. It's so forgiving and resilient. Just really good list.
Too many people rely on moves and marches to cover up bad positioning. Anyway, it's why I think things like Army of Lake Town are a terrible early army to use, because you get so used to having infinite might that you can just put your arm models wherever you want and just contest every move and see what happens. Like,
can you imagine playing lists like that?
Not when you start. One last adventure, a GBHL 90. It was 550 points. It was won by Alan Liddell. So we're up in Scotland lands. Hey, look, it's someone else who's won an event with the Defenders of Helm's Deep.
Who isn't me?
Bert has still not. So it is Theoden King with heavy armor and shield, 4 warriors with shield and 2 warriors with throwing spear and shield, 2 royal guard, 4 royal guard with throwing spear, and 6 Galathrin with spear and elf bow. Gambling with flag, 2 warriors with shields, 2 warriors with throwing spear shield, 2 royal guard throwing spear and shield, throwing spear, and 4 Galathrin with spear and elf bow. Aldor and Haleth. But
I agree. At 550 points, this list is really, really, really good. There was more variations on the way that you can build it. I quite like the max, like loads and loads of Royal Guard for just extra D6. But in this way, going maxing out warbands with Warriors of Rohan, just having extra labs. Having Eldor and Haleth as separate warband drops, I think I prefer it. In all honesty, because the only scenarios where it doesn't work out quite as well are can be Maelstrom, but then they're not really liabilities. Aldor can, like, command the battlefield. Aldor can just hold up. He has a point of will and a point of might. He can hold a table quarter, but you don't need to protect them in nearly the same way. So actually, you can deploy them where they need in the anyway. And actually, having 4 warbands at 550, you can get so much information out of your opponent. So it's a really smart way of building the list. Not everything having throwing spears is interesting, because then you end up having these lads behind the lot. Well, they're either in the front rank and you can't lob a spear on the way in, or they're kind of in the second rank and can't support. It can be a personal preference thing, but having the extra bodies at this level can never be a bad thing. But yes, Defenders Helm's Deep at 550 can confirm very strong.
Yes, what Bert said. I have no opinions.
Yeah. And spears and all the elves is just it's so nice to see people do this as well. You can get the fight 5 for the Royal Guard from Haleth, but that, at least early game, that unconditional fight 5, if that fight 5 D6 line, you are doing cartwheels when you hit like a fight 4 D5 line. It'll walk through it. So no, nice list.
So A Light in the Dark, which is a GBHL 90, 500 points by John Parrish. Rivendell Knights, Elrond on a horse with heavy armor, 12 knights with shield, a knight with banner, 500 points. Rivendell Knights is good. Next.
Yes. Yes. I suppose. I think, yeah, it's a really strong list. It has far too many bows. It has some magic. It has a leader that is super hard to get VPs through. I've never played this list, but I agree. It is Riv Knights.
Riv Knights can do the good thing. If anyone doesn't know, Rivendell Knights, you obviously, if everyone's in charge, you don't have to worry about bow limits for Rivendell Knights. So what you do is you slap 13 Rivendell Knights on the table. Your army bonuses, but they can reroll 1s if they are stationary and within 6 of your leader. So you cluster them around Elrond, and now you've got yourself 13 bows that hit on 3s, reroll 1s, and they're strength 3, so they're winning a lot of things on 5s and most things on 6s still, but you still do lots of hits. So with 13 bows pinging out, hitting on 3s, 2/3 of them are going to hit anyway, and then 2/3 of the ones that you re-roll will also hit. So Bert's now doing some maths in his head.
It's roughly a 75% hit rate.
Yeah. Which is,
good.
Fun. So you'll kill a few things every turn quite comfortably. If you happen to be lucky and you're playing against like goblins or hunter orcs or something where they're quite soft and squishy, you can then drop quite a few of them before they even get anywhere near you. You've then got the added fun of the fact that you can move 5 inches and carry on shooting people, so you can pretty reliably just run away from people, and kite them the entire game if you want to. Then what you can do is you can charge your horse in, knock everything down, and you've got 12 plus things charging in. They're fight 5. They've got lancers, so they're getting +1 to wound on there. That first charge is devastating. You've also got Elrond, who can go in and put things on the floor so that if they win the fights, they can't hurt you back, and a few other things like. So yeah, it can be truly horrendous to play against, or it can play against something like Assault on Helm's Deep and just get rinsed by crossbows and never get anywhere near anyone, and yeah, game is over. So that's Riv Knights. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe.
We haven't seen that many Riv Knights lists around, so it is nice to see that it is still up there, competitive, can win an event. Nice work, John.
So this is a GBHL 80, sitting pretty on 450. So this was up in Birmingham. It was 450 points. And the name we haven't seen for a little while, Callum Edens on the win.
He's still around.
With Arnor.
Arnor, here we go.
So Arnor is just you plonk out a table and you win a game. That's basically how it works.
Yeah.
You've got Arvadui, 5 Warriors of Arnor and 5 Rangers of Arnor. The Warrior of Arnor has a banner. One of them has a banner, sorry. So you've got 11 dudes in there. Then you've got Malbeth, you've got 6 Warriors and 2 Rangers with Spear. Then you've got Captain and 6 Warriors and 2 Rangers with Spear. So you've got 30 models. Not put Spears in all the Rangers because they're going to be in the front, I guess, and the Warriors are going to be behind. Looks like. And basically, Arnor, if you didn't know, is just 30 odd models. All the Warriors are D6 with Spears and shields, so they can shield up and stuff. It's all fight 4. You've got yourself a nice bit of banner coverage. You've got Malbeth, who can put up a kind of 5-up feel no painy type thing if you play other games. So essentially your 30 models, if they kill all 30 of them, you're getting 10 of them back. So you actually got 40 models. And those can be pretty clutch on the right model as well. I've seen it many a time where you think you've killed the guy to break through a hole and then it just pops back up. And you're like, oh, great.
I mean, the frustrations of like sort of charging your hero in for a clutch heroic combat to take out a banner, and you just go no, because it is it one save? Is it? Yeah, it's one save per wound.
Yeah.
So there's even like a 10% chance that if like your little ranger takes 2 wounds, he'll just stand there and just go, "Nah, mate, I'm all good."
Yeah, that's basically it, really. It's Arnor.
It's 30 models at 450. You still got 6 points of might. And this is just so good at grinding that Overdue is sure he's 3 attacks, has strike, fight 5. Doesn't really need to do anything other than just stand behind the lines and not give away VPs. Occasionally call a move if it's absolutely necessary. But by and large, it's the water on rock thing. You're just gonna hit them and they're just gonna go, okay, sure, I'll just outgrind you. I've got more models than you. I'm D6, I'm 5/4. Good luck.
Yep. Arnold, baby.
Yes. This concerns
God help us all if they ever actually put them back into print.
Oh, mate.
Speaking of Arnold, of my Dice and Men, GBHL 100, 700 points. Jake Rawson. Arnold. So 30 models at 450 points. Here's 51 at 700.
So filthy.
Arvadui, 14 warriors and a warrior with banner. Malbeth, 6 warriors, 5 rangers with spear. Captain, 6 warriors, 4 rangers with spear, 1 ranger. Captain, 5 warriors, 3 rangers with spear, 1 ranger, and a hobbit archer with warhorn. Arnor.
It's the same, but with more lads. And
more.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
It's our draw.
It's stop it. it's still good, and give Etmu to listen. There's an interview with Jake on that podcast as well after winning the event, and he's quite honest and just goes, yeah, I put them on the table and I've got my models and they don't die, and when my models don't die, my opponents do, then I tend to win. Which is just it's a really simple way of looking at it.
Not got any flails on this list.
Is there no weapon swap?
Nah, no flails. Jake,
Letting the side down.
what are you doing, mate? Flails OP confirmed.
It's just lads, isn't it?
It's just lads, in it. But yeah, like I said,
it's just lads that don't die.
If they ever put Arnor back into print, Jesus fuck. Right. That's when they have to start nerfing stuff. It's like Braga, mate. If you ever,
it's not like it's the fact that you got the courage weakness, but then you also have the Warhorn, which kind of bumps them back up to like courage 3, which is kind of fine. But it's not even. And then Arnor. The other thing is, I think Jake played into Angmar once or twice as well, and they are like nasty into Angmar.
Yeah, they have hatred Angmar, if anyone doesn't know.
Because because basically it's the Arnor. They're the weak coward. They're the cowardly ones. That's the like blip in the profile, and then Arvinu just goes, no, they're not. So these guys are just walking into terror walls. Just don't care. They just don't care. So they're actually really good into terror walls. So your Black Numenorians, your Angmar, your Rise of the Necromancer, they just don't care. Good lads.
Just lads in it. All right.
Yes.
That's more fun. We've got a doubles
Yes.
with our first incredibly long name of the day. We've got Go Back Sam. I'm going to Bangor alone. It's GBHL 80, 700 points, run by Ben Hanna and Peter McFettridge. I'm going to butcher that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it alone now. This is a fun list. So you've got Elendil hiking a Gondor with horse and shield. 10 warriors of Numenor with spear and shield. 5 warriors of Numenor with bow and spear. Bosh, done. He is allying his doubles partner. He has a dwarf king with 6 dwarfs with shield and 2 dwarfs with bow, and a king's champion with 4 dwarfs with shield and 3 dwarfs with bow. Bosh, done.
This is awesome. I'm going
to take this at 700 points to a tournament and see what happens.
Mate, I would genuinely love to. This is fantastic, and also the fact that you have what is a largely D7 fight 4 with strength 4 spear support with 2 banners, which is fantastic. The fact that you have a king, you have a 3 attack strength 5 fight 6 king's champion in the list, and he's not the biggest hitter. That is so much fun. It's also the fact that your dwarf warriors that if you're a higher fight with that banner coverage, you're likely going to be rolling more dice than your opponent. So you can actually piercing strike and get like those 2, get both the dice of strength 4. So again, this thing of trying to wade through the lads is going to take time, and this is when Elendil, if he has time to work, oh man, that is just going to break. He could break with himself. And he's so resource intensive to take down with the it's the fortified spirit, doesn't he? So he has the 2 resist dice for free and the free heroic combat. So to pour work into shutting him down, and then the King's Champion at fight 6, he is a real threat to a lot of heroes. And it's got March of the King. I love it. I think I can see why it did well. Lovely little list. And reasonable firepower as well. Like those 5 strength 3 dwarf bows are not a joke.
And the 5 Numenor bows. We should definitely be stronger.
Yes. And if the models could be a centimetre taller as well, that would also be lovely. Yeah.
All right, the Battle of Beex Bri, GBHL 80, 600 points, Thomas second. This is London, isn't it? Is it London?
London area. I think if you stood up, you could see the M25.
London-ish. We've got Fell Beings of Mirkwood, which means that they're all going to be weird. So we've got Razgush, 4 Warriors of Shield, 4 Warriors of Spear, 1 Orc Warrior with Banner Spear, 2 Orc Trackers, 1 Wild Rider with Throwing Spear, 1 Bat Swarm, and 1 Giant Spider. Then we've got Spider Queen. She's got 3 Orc Warriors of Shield, 3 Orc Warriors of Spear, 2 Orc Trackers, 1 Orc Tracker with Warg, 1 Giant Spider. Then a Captain with Warg and Shield, with 3 Orc Warriors of Shield, 3 Orc Warriors of Spear, 2 Orc Trackers, 1 Wild Rider with Throwing Spear, 1 Giant Spider, and a Partridge in a Fell Tree. Basically, you got a bunch of boys. So your like conventional battle line is about 10 orcs long. So you've got 10 orcs of shield, 10 orcs of spear. Then you've got 6 trackers dotted around it with the little bow boys. A couple of wild riders, 3 giant spiders, 1 bat swarm, 1 fell warg, Spider Queen doing Spider Queen things, Razgush just being a punchy boy in the middle, and a captain with warg just running around and being a kind of he's your cheap disposable hammer that you can just launch at things and hope they die. Bonus point if you get a bat in.
That all captain on the warg is really not a joke. Because yeah, he's got to pick it off the time. So if he's on the charge, knocks you down. That's 6 dice at strength 5. You're kind of two wound, 1 fate heroes. You need to be aware like that all captain can with a bat swarm can one shot them really easily. And so that can hit heroic combat through a lad or 2 straight into you and just have a really good time. I like the triple giant spider. I imagine it's fairly standard, but there's a lot of punch in this list, and at 38 models at 600. Trying to again with the bat swarm, different spiders, Spider Queen, 3 punchy heroes. There's quite a lot to keep track of here, and if you don't have the counters to deal with it immediately, you can find yourself down a lot of models very quickly.
Yes, lots of boys, punches like a ton of bricks. Sure, it also probably dies quite hard if you punch it back, but
oh yeah, this thing looks at the Rivendell Knights list and cries a little bit.
Yeah, incredibly susceptible to high-powered shooting and things. But you just kind of get good. Yeah, the best thing to do with that kind of situation is then to use the Spider Queen's Brewlings and try and like ping them out, because you can kind of extend her reach 23 inches with them. So you can charge them into combat and stop the front blokes from shooting, which then stops the back blokes from shooting, and you can buy yourself a turn or 2 doing that. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Where Legends are Made, another GBHL 80. This is 500 points, and this was Ben Haslam. So this is one of the Manchester Charles Sims or Preston, I think.
Okay.
Shagrat with heavy armor and shield, 6 Brannons, 6 Black Numenoreans, Ringwraith, 3 Black Numenoreans, 3 Morannons, Orc Trackers, 4 of them, and Gorbag, 3 Morannons, and 2 Wild Riders. 30 models, 9 Black Numenoreans, 12 Brannons with spears, some bows, some Wild Riders, 2 fairly punchy heroes, and a Ringwraith.
It's Mordor Harad, but just without Suladan.
Yeah. That's why it's at an 80. If it was at a 90, it would be Suladan would be in there instead of the 3rd Warband.
It's actually lovely to see like a fairly vanilla Mordor list. We think Mordor like having this generic wraith which will provide your march. You can shut heroes down, but again you have the Harbinger, you have the Black Numenoreans, you've got a couple of Wild Riders for a bit of speed, little bit of shooting power. Your D6 terror causing fight 4 line that punches back pretty hard. And you need to be, even though it's only 1 caster at 500 points, 1 caster and Shagrat. that you really need to watch that, because Shagrat is capable of one-shotting anything at this level. Very, very, or just barreling through troops for a laugh. As can Gorbag. Gorbag can be lobbed into your sort of fight for D6 line, and suddenly he's hitting you with 3 attacks and a spear support. There's a lot of fun. So there's lots of fun stuff going on here. And also, this is what 8 points of might at 500. That is quite spicy. So Shagrat has plenty of disposable might for striking and combating into stuff.
There's an awful lot of control here, and especially when you consider that you actually don't really want to move first ever. You want your opponents moving first because you want them failing courage tests because you bet them annoyance. Like this is the Shagrat and Gorbag have that might to use on punching things in the face very reliably. They're going to outstrike you, like they're going to drain your resources. They're going to hurt combat through things. Yeah, this looks like fun, but also really good at the same time.
It's just nice to see Mordor without the Witch King.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of it feels very the traditional like 450 look where it's like Shagrat, Mouth, Cardouche or something, and it's
but it's also 30. It's 30 models. Like that is nothing to sniff at.
30 very competent models.
Yeah. Part of yeah, nicely done.
All right, G-Boot, the great battle of our time.
Here we go.
GBHL 100, 795 points. The last one looks chill. This is the dialed up version of the list. So you've got the Witch King with 313 free, Crown of Morgul horse, 3 Orc trackers, 7 Rannans with shield and spear, 7 Black Numenoreans, the Mouth with armored horse, 1 Orc warrior with shield spear, 5 trackers, 1 Morannon with shield spear, and 2 Black Numenoreans. That's a weird warband, bless him. Shagrat with heavy armor and shield, 2 Orc trackers, 5 Rannans, and 4 Black Numenoreans, and then Suladan with 3 Serpent Riders. So this one's got 13 Black Numenoreans, and it has 12 Morannons, 1 Orc with spear, 10 trackers, and then Suladan and 3 Serpent Riders.
You shouldn't be able to get this many models. It just shouldn't be allowed. When you like this many very, very competent, very efficient heroes with that strong and competent a front line, it's so many things to try and deal with. It'll just have better magic than your opponent, a stronger line, a bigger banner. Like when you look at this, things in terms of things that are going to cause you trouble, you almost bypass Shagrat. The fact that you got that like, shutting down Suladan's banner, big deal. Trying to shut down the Witch King is hugely important. So how you try and deal with either of those things and Shagrat just ripping through your army, it's really good. I think we may have encountered this list once or twice before on the pod.
Yeah, it's nice that after all of the Legendary Legions and everything, we've reverted back to
good stuff.
Good stuff. However, I'm starting to get bored of it, and started to get bored of it about 4 months ago.
How many hundreds has Mordor Harad won?
Ask me in a bit. We'll have a look.
Yeah,
but
it's quite a few.
It's yeah, it's really good, and it's annoying because the Black Numenoreans are out of stock.
Yeah, I think it's this was the list which when like the day before the FAQ, I think things that got hit a little bit. I think this is one of the things that people were talking about this. So I don't know if we've actually been on post FAQ. And one of the little suggestions with this was, does Suladan's banner need to affect absolutely everybody? Is that strictly necessary? and then it wasn't touched, and very, very, very clearly, he's still a beautifully efficient piece. This list works wonders.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take away the banner without messing up everything. To be honest, it's the problem with it is, if you're trying to FAQ this in any way, shape, or form, is that it's actually really hard to change any of this without ruining half the armies in the game. Unless you do a points change.
Oh, but this is why my suggestion would be Pseudodan's banner only affects Harad, which would be a relatively easy fix. It can keep the range. There'll be no points changes. Harad still works really well at low points. It just makes this list. It's still good. It's still good. You may need to, but you may need more of a Harad contingent in there. You can't just have this. What's this, like 100?
You wouldn't have a Harad contingent. He's only there because he's super efficient banner.
Yeah,
and a couple of very cheap cavalry. There would just be other things.
Yeah. So it would open up a small. It would open up a chink in this list a little bit, but it wouldn't be that drastic in FAQ.
You have to. I don't know how. I don't know if it currently works or not, but you'd have to check that the Farharad stuff all has the Harad keyword, because otherwise that list is fucked.
Oh yeah, well they just say Harad and Farharad, so that seems fine. But even like points changes. There's what, like 800 points. You have what, 13 Black Numenorians. So even if you made them 2 points, you'd lose what, 3 or 4 models. It would still be 40 models at 800. With a 2-point increase for Black Numenorians. That is drastic, really drastic. And you'd still only lose 3 or 4 models.
Yeah. We could talk for hours about how one might stop this from being.
But yes, this list is still, it is as good as it was back in March.
Oh, I've got back somehow. Forwards to toss me. Don't tell the elf. This is the one Aaron ran down in Atomic for us.
Oh, nice.
So this is a GBHL 90. It was 550 points, and it was won by Dan Hawkins. Goblin Town.
Handsome gentleman.
This is just Goblin Town. It's 550 points. It's 70 models, and it's got a scribe, so there's going to be more of them. Enjoy.
That is so many models.
Goblin Town.
It's actually nice. No, seeing just pure Goblin Town just rocking up and just smacking people at like medium to low points. It's actually lovely to see.
It's got the blessing of it being a 4-game event, so he managed to not play any of the horrendous scenarios for it. But yes, it was just models. Here you go. Oh, I win.
Was it Veto?
Yeah.
Right. So you are never going to play Lords of Battle.
Yeah. Sorry, it was so long ago I forgot it was Veto. Yeah. It's four rounds of Veto.
Even then, it was on. I think one of the Italian guys on the Unexpected podcast was saying that even Lords of Battle, because you can offer, if your opponent just has more kills than you, which is very likely, this with Goblin King, Golem, Grinner has strike and stuff. You can still kill their leader, and I
have won Lords of Battle multiple times with Goblin Town.
Yeah. I mean, things like to the death because of the lack of banner. That's a little bit rougher.
As long as you can get to them, it's okay.
Yeah.
So if you're playing against something like Defenders of Helm's Deep, Assault on Helm's Deep, Rivendell Knights, just generic Lothlorien, to be honest, anything with like mass fight, strength 3 or above shooting, you're going to have a terrible time on Lords.
So in Veto, this is going to hurt.
There's been a couple of Veto events now, but Goblin Town has won just by going, here's all my goblins, I win.
I mean, playing objective scenarios against this, I mean, what you need to kill 36 goblins to break it.
Yeah.
Which is going to be more than, I guess, over half the armies started with.
Yeah, I mean, a few of them also brought hordes, but yeah.
No.
That's the thing. You always,
No.
everyone uses the kind of like 50%, one model per whatever points, thing. But then when you go down to like 450, everyone skews up to hoardiness. So you're like, oh yeah, well I'm going to have 30 models. That'd be more than everyone has at 450, for instance. And you're like, well, it won't because everyone's going to have more than everyone else has it. But yeah,
it's that kind of race to it's the race to 40 models plus, and what list can hit that kind of magic number.
Yeah.
At the lower points, and clearly Goblin Town that points level is very, very low.
Yeah.
No, gorgeous.
Some goblins.
Oh. Lovely list. Handsome player. Good to go.
Battle Clyde Water, they didn't send Arminists, so yeah, move on. If in doubt, follow your nose. It's a GBHL 90 and it was escalation. So it was 400 and 600, won by GA Acharya. This is Isengard lads.
Are you sure? Are you sure this wasn't Vince Wong? Are we sure Vince Wong didn't win a 90?
I'm pretty sure. This is Lurtz, an Urukai lad with shield, an Urukai warrior without shield, 6 warriors of pike, 4 warriors of crossbow, Vrasku, 2 warriors without shield, 6 warriors of pike, and 4 warriors with crossbow. 26 lads at 400 points. And then Lurtz, Vrasku, and Ugluk is now here with more Urukai warriors. So it's out up to 39 models at 600 points. They've also thrown in a Crabane. So at 400 points, you've got 8 crossbows, 26 lads, 6 might, just generic low point Isengard good stuff. We've seen it before a few times. They're just good lads.
Isengard is this thing of it's so hard to find a level because you have these kind of cheap heroes, so you want to be able to spam lads a little bit because the lads are really good. But there's so much other stuff that can get there first. However, at 400, it does feel like this is actually really solid. You are not going to hit a huge amount of big stuff at 400 points.
And if you think traditional 400 point good stuff, you're looking at like Lake Town, Goblin Town, that kind of thing. Uruks go so nicely into them. And Hunter Orcs, for example, as well. Anything you win it all at 4s, lads. Like, yeah, it's good. It's great. And then you got 600 points. That's where it starts to get a little bit more risky. But then you just put another 3 might striker in. So now you got 2 3 might strikers and Vrasku, who's a fight 5, strength 5 captain on his own, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the big call, I think, for not really 400 but a 600 is the banner inclusion, because it really it does eat into your numbers. And I think Jay made the correct call in just going for I want more lads, because he's got 12. So he's firing off 14 crossbow shots a turn into largely what's a D5 D6 meta at the moment. That's going to work out all right for him. So plenty.
Crabane just in general really good. Everyone got really into them for the first month or 2 after they came out, and then people kind of forgot about it. But just the Crabane are really good.
Crabane are great.
So good at just stealing objectives and things that are remote because they're so hard to shoot and just ping out the air. They're like 4 wounds or something silly.
They are 4 wounds. You can only hit them on natural 6s.
Yeah,
but even I've used them in battle lines, and just for plugging a gap which your opponent can only get 1 lad into. Even with the spear sword, it's going to take them 3 or 4 turns to get through, and occasionally they win a fight as well because they acknowledge banners. No, they're cracking pieces. So nice to see generic Isengard do well.
Yeah. And then we're up to Lord of the Imps, which is 805 points. It did change from day 1 to day 2. Day 2's list never made it to the thing for some reason. But Jake Rawson, yay. GBHL 100, 805 points. Something different. Got Iron Hills Dwarfs.
This is not Arnor.
This is not Arnor.
Apparently he felt if he'd taken Arnor or Lothlorien again, he may have come under fire. So he wanted to take something a bit different.
So what he's gone for is something else, but it's just a bunch of dudes who don't die.
Yes.
So,
it's a bunch of fight for lads who don't die.
Yeah. Dane on his pig, 8 dwarfs with shield, 5 dwarfs with shield spear, 3 dwarfs with crossbows and spear, and a dwarf with shield spear and a banner. Thorin, King of the Mountain on War Goat with Orcrist, that's my boy. 4 Iron Hills dwarfs with shield and 5 Iron Hills dwarfs with shield spear. And then Biffa, he is the one where if he gets the first time he wins a fight, he can headbutt someone and his axe can get this he pulls his axe out or something. And then I think he call a free heroic move every single
turn. So basically, if Biffa wins a fight, he can make. I think he can make 1 blow. He rolls 1 dice. If he gets the kill with that axe, and obviously you spend the might on it, then he can call a free heroic move every single turn. So then I think then you get free heroic move. Thorin gets his combat.
Yeah.
And Dane gets his master of battle.
Yeah.
On 2 mounted fight 6 heroes, one of whom is fairly choppy, and the other whom is unbelievably choppy. I mean, Dane Ironfoot on a pig is your Easterling player's just biggest nightmare because they're just gonna die. There is nothing that you can do about it. I think, yeah, and then I imagine for Lord of the Imps, your leader and their warband die on day 1, and then your lieutenant here, Thorin, turned into your leader, and round 4 is contest. So yes, you are then playing against a fight 6 D8 Thorin free heroic combating.
Does Danger Pout and then elves come in? Is that what happens here?
Potentially, just to get the fight 5 in. But yeah, that game of contest, your opponent has to try and wade through Iron Hills dwarves,
or just dwelling.
Yeah. Then there were other options for scenarios which were slightly more generic. I think one of the options is Fog of War. So again, trying to kill any champion of Erebor is nightmare. Getting to them, heroic combating through Iron Hills dwarves. Good luck.
Yeah, it's nice to see Iron Hills kicking around again.
Iron Hills without a ballista.
Yeah, it's lovely to see Arnor without a blister. What that blister. All right, and then we're on to the these are the rankings right now. So not should get small color, yeah. So these are the rankings right now, not at the end of September. So the team one is all kinds of messed up. But fine. We'll go with it. I think it's just 8th is down below 11th for some reason. But yeah, so top 16, currently Jake Rawson, atop David Farmer, and Ashley Walger on the podium. I believe all 3 of them now have at least 4 100 wins. So it's getting a little bit silly up there. Then we've got Jay Acharya, Jakob, Ed Ball, Ben Haslam, Michael Bradford, Alistair King, Ivan Sheehan, Christian Lewis, who's currently the best newcomer as well. That's why he's green. Sam Grattan, Adam Sirens, Aaron Pullen, Matt Light, and Patrick Divers up in the top 16. And then team-wise, the Guardians Ringer team is top. The 7th City team is second. The Golems Gamers, who are the lads from Portsmouth, plus some friends they bullied into joining them, are third. And the Guardians of Wiltshire are 4th. The Fellowship of Ring Road, which is Team London, are 5th. 4th Inch and Bucky Zerkers are 6th and 7th, about where they've been the whole time. It's been quite fun watching them two scrap each out. Men of the Best should be in 8th, and then Any Heroics 9th, 7th City 2nd team in 10th, and then Team Atomic in 11th.
There is still work the Team Atomic can do to. I mean, the absolute dream would be a late surge from Team Atomic and beat over Any Heroics in a battle of YouTube channels.
I don't know if that's actually going to happen. That would need an awful lot.
It would be lovely.
We started off strong, and then we just kind of stopped going to events because real life got busy.
Yeah, we also had children and got jobs.
Yeah, hence the slow down. Wow, I broke my spine. And yeah, hence the general kind of slow down in content and things as well. But yeah, that's all right. Do you reckon the Guardians Ringer team can make it to 1,000 points? I don't think enough events.
And you're just going to move us. Wait, so it's your best, yeah, your best 10 scores. How many hundreds are they actually on? And who? Yeah, basically, which of them? So they're on 500 wins. 3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, they can't make that perfect. There's not enough events.
They can't make it perfect, but it's also who's been slowing them down.
The Guardians from Distant Lands. Are we just going to start calling people out on?
I mean, I think given that they're winning the team competition, I mean, I think calling people out for only having 90 points, yeah. Because obviously, Tom, you and I have got 90 points loads of times this year.
So right. Christian Lewis letting the team down. He's only got a 95 and a 90. Absolute scrub. Louis Van Heck doesn't even live in his country. Alex Dufresne doesn't even live in his country. I'll allow it. David Coleman and Ivan, the Irish contingent, let the team down.
I think that's why I love Dave Coleman at 86 and 84 isn't actually contributing to the team.
Yep.
So yeah, those are the scores to pull out. That's a big effort for Chris Lewis because he's been around. What I think he's just about to have his anniversary.
In Warfare last year.
Yeah, so it's around about It's been around less than a year to just bang in a second and a third.
Well, he did win Warfare last year.
Yeah, it's not a bad start. So actually, he's been slacking this year.
Yes, yeah, he's actually gone backwards. Which, to be fair, I also did. I won my first ever GBHL event, and then have not actually won one since, just podiumed a bunch. But yeah,
me too. I won one of my very early ones, and then just forgot how to do it.
I suppose we could probably sort by this if you want to fix it. There you go. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the numbers are right. They're just not in the right order.
All right.
Big from London to get up to 5th.
That's a big from London. That's Patrick's put in some work for that.
Yeah.
But there's a really solid. I mean, I think guys like Stuart McLean, who have hit the scene really hard recently. He won a really solid 90. In somewhere near London, St Albans. They're near London. So there's lots of developing talent.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. And then obviously with next year, it's going to be fun to see what happens with it going to more scores. So we're going to have your top 6 scores are going to count for next year.
That is a lot of events.
Yeah.
20 events. That's a really solid effort for up the top. That's a really solid number of events. Like it is great to see like how many of the top end players do go to and support such a massive number of events across the year. That aren't all hundreds.
Is it?
Yeah, Ash comes to 90s.
Leave us alone. Let us play our fun little.
Let us win.
Yeah.
It was like wonderful 90 in Birmingham where we sort of turned up and we just go, cool. So Jake and Jakob are here and can't improve their scores in any way, shape, or form. They're just here to beat up the rest of us.
And then I lost to Jake.
Yeah.
Round.
And I got that was it actually may there's a tiny chance it may end up mattering. Like right at the top. Because it was done on strength of schedule. So it's ignored now. But there was a brief moment where me winning meant that Jake didn't get 90 points. Bizarrely.
Yeah, I mean that only matters if Farmer manages to win another 100.
Yeah.
Which there are only a few of left. But also, most importantly, the calendar for next year is also starting to take shape. So we've already sold out our first event in January. This is how we're looking at the start of the year. So we've got Into the West, which I'll certainly be going to with a bunch of our lads. You're not coming to that, are you? It's too early. And yeah. But we're going to be taking a bunch of our Team Atomic and Noobs and Numenor boys up there. A few people's going to be their first ever event, like away game, as it were. So that'll be quite fun. And then Turn of the Tide down here in Swindon. We have already sold that out. And the waiting list has got like 10 people on it already. So that's going to be quite fun. It'll be interesting to see what happens with some of these 80s next year. I know Dewey's 80s can host like 40 odd people. It's whether or not people still bother at all. Well, I assume there'll just be a general, if you're going to go to an 80, it has to be for fun now.
I think this year was kind of a nice like development. Like we saw early on that the field for the first 90 up in Oxfordshire, that was really, really, really sweaty, and people were like desperate to get hold of those 90 points. And then as the league's gone on, the fields have definitely been more people in the sort of 50, like in the sort of 50 to 20 ranking, trying to boost their scores, and the top guys not really fussing in the same way. I think next year we'll see a bunch of people, possibly and I think guys like us as well, who just go, you know what, I just want to go and play some SPG, and I'm just going to go bring something fun, and that's fine. Now that we know that 80s are completely and utterly irrelevant for a very large amount of the top scores.
And it was entirely the point of bringing in 90s.
And it's worked.
We should stress that.
And it has worked.
The point of bringing in the GBHL 90 was to make GBHL 80s back to being fun, themey events where if you are a tournament organizer who has a local group of lads and you want to run a GBHL event and you want to like be part of the whole thing, but you don't want to attract all the big scary people from, all the big dogs, run an 80. It'll be fun. It'll be friendly. Your community can get involved. You'll still score your points. You'll have a lovely time. You'll put your hobby scores and stuff into the league still. So your best painted and most sporting and things will still contribute. And it'll just be a really nice time to like be involved in the league, be part of everything. But yes, you shouldn't get any of the big scary boys come down.
It's often like in those games as well. It's so beautiful where you can just go. Don't know if it's the best thing to do, but I'm just going to call a heroic combat here with Aragorn because I want to, and it feels the kind of thing he'd do. And you can just make these calls, and it's just fun. You can just roll dice and have a good time.
I almost podiumed an 80 this year of all mounted Harrod, and it was fun, and I had a lovely time. Just running around going, war spears, camels.
Somewhere in that case, you can see a wing. I have four winged Nazgul in there, and that's the other thing which I would love to take to an 80, and just go there. They're on there. They can get shot out the sky, but they look kind of cool. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I think there'll be some fun list kicking around and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we're going to see people. We'll be running some more fun 80s double. I'll do an 80 doubles again with like funny costume points and stuff as well, and just generally a nice little mess around and things like that. But yeah, hopefully it should be good to see. And the change to hundreds where it's not just 195, 90 for podiums. It will now be based on how many people come. So if it's 100 people, it will be 199, 8, 98, 97, 96, 95 for your points. If it's only 50, it'll be 100, 98, 96, 94, for example. That would be quite interesting because I think, again, it makes 90s even less relevant. So people who thought a 90 was going to be super relevant at the start of the year will now know, hopefully going in, that if it makes the GBHL, the 90s aren't going to be relevant to you.
Yeah. Which it'd be quite nice if you're looking to. If you played a bunch of 80s last year and really enjoyed it, that you can now then like look at one day 90s and go, I can go to this, have a shot at some bigger points, and you're still not going to hit these enormous sweat monsters. You can go then have a nice time as well.
I think where the biggest change has been felt for me has been in this kind of bracket between like 5 and 20 in the league, where everyone is now like people have got a couple of like 90s and things on their belt, and it's just bumped everyone's scores just up. Basically, it's just made it this group is now very, very tight. Very, a couple of points here and there will move you up 5 or 6 points, 5 or 6 places. I think so from my personal like anecdotal experience, I outscored what I got last year, and have dropped 35, 37 places at least almost 40 places, and I've scored more than I did last year. Like, it's just
more points available, even though the top 3 guys have got like 80% of the 100 wins between the 3 of them, if not more.
Jay's got a few now.
Actually, no. Okay.
But half. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 outside of the podium, and then 4, 8, 13 for the podium.
Okay.
But yeah, the math starts at outside the top 10. There is only 1, but I mean that's probably how it should be. If we're being brutally honest, the list of people who are capable of winning. There's plenty of people who are capable of podium 100, and you do rely on a decent chunk of luck and things to actually get the matchups going your way. That you do rely on a fair bit of luck as well. It's not just everything. There are plenty of people who can podium 100 or at least get up in that top 5, top 10, and that'd be quite interesting to see now. Now that we've got the 100 scoring how it was, what happens with things? Well, take so Into the West this year, sorry. This 87.36. That's 6th for Into the West. So this year that would be 94 points instead.
Wow. Okay.
So just shabunk. I mean, only bouncing out like 10 spots.
It is nice that you got people down in the 60s who have won 90s as well. More events is nice. More opportunities for newer people to win events is cool.
And it just shows the general we spoke to Ali about it at the start of last year, how much the general competitiveness throughout the field has increased over the years. There used to be a time where you could look at events and go, all right, well, one of these 2 people is probably going to win this event. It's now you look at it and go, well, there's a lot of good people here. Stretches down.
It's the going to Tom and I will go to events and look at hitting a podium of a 90, and then we'll go to 100 and go, cool, I am very much an average player in this field.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, stop it. No, it's good. It's good to see people getting involved.
Sweet. All right. I think we should probably wrap things up there. Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit. It's been nice to be back doing stuff. I assure you we are trying to do more. But
when we can, we will.
Yes, we can as well. And then hopefully going into next year, that's my big trying to get things sorted so that next year we can do more for you. more battle reports and things as well. Want to bring more things back. Drawing up narrative campaigns and just generally just stuff. Want to do more stuff. My work is quieting down a little bit, as in we've now got staff at the shop and things. It's not just me. Bert's work is getting way busier, but that's okay because it means we can sort stuff out. So hopefully more stuff soon. Thanks.
More stuff, more things. Thanks.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
I've not pressed stop yet. There it is.